right, so here we are at the Houmas House in Darrow, Louisiana. So we're right on the Mississippi River. This is, you may remember an episode we did with Chef Jeremy of Houmas House. Not me, another Jeremy.
Yeah.
And we just got a tour, so we're gonna show you all the things that we saw.
Yep.
And we also had some amazing food here.
One thing you'll see a lot as you go through here is you'll see these kind of building architectural drawings. I'm gonna point this out because this is by an artist named Jim Blanchard. He lives in Donaldsonville, and he's been our interior, he's an artist, but he also does interior design, and he's super creative. Well, he's the one he's been working with Kevin since the 90s and did his house in New Orleans. He did all the interiors, all the decoration, all the decor at Houmas House. He designed this building.
Wow.
He designed, and he curated, and this is all him. All the research, everything. He spent years just working on this kind of project. But he's also an artist too, and it's interesting, like the cover of the Galatoire's cookbook is one of his pictures, is a picture of Galatoire's, the front, and it looks just like this. And so if you see any of these pictures of a historic Louisiana building, because his passion is architecture and design, and he does all this is art that he does, which is pen and ink and watercolor, and he does all of it. And you'll just, now that I've pointed it out, as we walk around, you'll start seeing things like this. Like he'll set a scene too sometimes too, you know.
Is that the original?
This
Mr.
is the
Bingle?
original Mr. Bingle. It's like it was at the Maison Blanche. I want to say in New Orleans. There was an apartment store, and this was Mr. Bingle. He was like iconic. They put him up if you lived in New Orleans during a certain time, you knew Mr. Bingle.
As we continued to explore the museum with Chef Jeremy, we were simply overwhelmed by the number of exhibits that were available to view.
Even like this cool old map of the Mississippi and all the little settlements and kind of peoples and this, that, and others, just really fascinating.
Yeah, so Jefferson College, our grandfather, Paul Hubble, was one of the last 4 graduates of Jefferson College in 1927.
Wow. This whole area is the John Fultz area, whenever it becomes. So this is going to become a whole area about the history of food, of the history of Cajun and Creole cuisine. This is operational. The pipes are right over here. You'll see them.
Yeah.
When we got all the wax figures and they came in, someone just told me, hey, go pop in your banquet kitchen. Didn't tell me nothing else. I go in there and they had started delivering it. Well, they're all in pieces. Right. It's the bodies, there's the torso, there's the arms and the hands, there's the head and the legs. And that's most of them. And I go in there and they put up shelves and it was nothing but heads. And I guess they had run out of space, so that I have these ovens in there that opened up some of the ovens, and just on the racks they put the heads in the oven. so I just popped. I was like, whoa, yeah, you're right. I would have never guessed that. You got to see this. Right here, Douglas Diaz smoking pipe collection.
God.
Well, anyway, he was into collecting pipes. You would never have thought how imaginative and how creative these pipes are. Like whether it's ivory, porcelain, hand painted, hand carved. Wait till you see, it gets even more intricate the more you come in. I mean, there's thousands of them. And I mean, it's unbelievable.
Holy crap.
Well, look at the Lord of the Rings Gandalf looking thing over here. But I mean, just look, all hand carved ivory and things like that. I mean, it's unbelievable. You never thought pipes, like look at all the different pieces. What a collection, you know? This house really wasn't a traditional plantation in the fact that it was like a business running this major farm. During that era of time, this was his show house. It's almost like the Great Gatsby. He had multiple plantations, and a lot of them were part of his sugar business because he was a sugar baron. But this was like his show house, so it really wasn't like that much of a. There was a couple slave houses in the back, and that was about it. They did some cooking, but this area didn't have a lot of history. There was slavery, of course, but it just wasn't slavery. And sometimes, so whenever we talk about it, we often like to recommend Whitney, which is Whitney Plantation that's its main focus is the focus on slavery. That's the main kind of overarching story. If you go to Whitney, that's what you're going to experience. Wine scale, because you had the wine merchants coming up and down the Mississippi River. When you look closely at just the woodwork and the craftsmanship, I mean, it's unbelievable.
I went to the Rural Life Museum, and I
yeah,
know
that's great.
Yeah, but I was one of the first times.
They got a bunch of
all
them
those
there.
caskets.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
purses.
yeah. They got a bunch.
You really start, yeah.
After touring the River Road Museum, we decided to head on over to the main house and try some of Chef Jeremy's creations.
A bunch of little turtle things here. We even have the turtle. This is like, look at this chandelier. It's a turtle it's like a leviathan above it, holding it, just kind of crazy. But people just wind up calling it the Turtle Bar, so the name just stuck. And so it used to be for years before this building was built, because we opened in 05, but this building didn't get built until around 2012-ish. This was still its bar, but it was its own independent structure. Like I said, the other one's still intact, but this one we converted to a bar. But it used to it's called a garçonnière, which means boys' cottage.
Right.
And it used to be, if you were about 14 years old, you'd move out of the big house, and it had an upstairs area and a downstairs area. You slept upstairs and you hung out downstairs. It's so old, like we're constantly like, even all this exposed brick, is that the other, and even like, as the plaster come off, we like how it looks, so we just leave it exposed, the exposed brick.
Yeah.
But
Everybody sits at these smaller tables.
well, sometimes we'll have a big party, or sometimes this just gets divvied up. Might have a tin top over here, might be a little group over here, and a group over here. Guest in the kitchen. Y'all come peek on in. Y'all come on in. Guys, this is my friend David and Jeremy. Good name.
How are y'all?
It's the crew. Here.
My jacket, I'm about to leave.
You can leave. They ain't worried about all that. You got that old distinguished look anyway, like a George Clooney. I met these guys from John Foles, and they were in town for the boucherie and this, that, and the other. But oh yeah, there's a small little kitchen, man.
That's where all the magic happens here. Huh? It's nice. I wish I had in my kitchen like this at the house.
So so we're right here. We're in this room right here, okay? So this is kind of Craig's depiction of what the original outpost looks like. So this was before the big house. This was, so this is the room
That's
above
the
us.
land that we just
yeah,
walked
yeah.
off.
So this is where we're at right now. Yeah, well, wood oven. We got I don't know why I'm always so fascinated by this little piece right here, but it's so unique. You really don't see a lot of these. This is a rotisserie that you would have a little key that would just crank this, and this would spin on a spring. But you would hang a ham or something like that over the fire, and it would, as opposed to going this way, it spins. I always that's unique. You almost never see stuff like this. And then even there's been times, it's so funny. Once I was pounding out some veal in my kitchen in the back, and it was wood handle that it broke. I was like, well, shit, what am I going to do? So I was like, wait a second. I literally came in here and I grabbed this thing and finished the job. So
Actually recreate cooking in the hearth itself with
so
fire.
well, mock style. We light fires in here fairly regularly,
Right.
and then like we'll do stuff and on. Yeah, some of this old cypress is really old.
Yeah.
The old brick. You can't tell as much, but even we got our own little wives' tales. Whenever this had fallen, there's said to be a young girl who's a ghost on the property here. And if you stand back and look at this, it kind of looks like a young girl. This being
Oh, yeah.
a
I see what you're
profile, nose, lips, neck, braided hair in the back.
Well, now that you say it, I think you can unsee it.
But yeah, I love this old weathered cypress.
It reminds me of the old movies where they're trying to recreate, like, not just Pirates of the Caribbean, but that whole era of, I guess, 1780s and stuff like that, where it's all either Caribbean frontier down here.
And like even if you look at things like the mantle, it's just like, it's not ornate. It's just so based. It's just simple, like it's just of the time.
So,
wow.
out of the food items, well, let's stick with it. Like the appetizers.
Crab and mango cakes and tuna tartare, and I guess I was speechless somewhat, because I mean they're really good. Now I like a good crab cake, but I don't think I've ever had a crab cake that had this much crab meat in it.
Yeah.
There's no filler, I could tell. I mean, it's good lump crab meat. And I never had tuna tartare, but it's on the avocado and a, what is it called? A sesame cracker That's some,
Yeah.
that. I guess it's some sort of foam that
Kind of looks like foam. It's
it
like,
looks
yeah.
like foam. Yeah, you'll see it in the pictures, but that was really good too. And there's something with the sauce. I guess some relish he's got around it with it, but the combination's just. I mean, I want to wipe the plate with my. You did, I guess. Actually,
I did. I did.
Your bread.
I was definitely enjoying the food. Then you get into entrees. We had
Eggplant Napoleon,
and the beef short ribs, and both of those were phenomenal. Now the thing, like, I don't like eggplant. I hate the texture. I don't like it. But you fry it up and you lump some crab meat on top of there with like a saffron cream sauce. So anyway, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't eat eggplant, and I still eat that.
So I have actually, Chef Jeremy has these on the website, and I've got a copy of this, and I've made this at my house before.
Right.
And it was good when I made it at my house, but it wasn't this good.
But then we come to dessert.
Yeah. And just to get it right, it's the king cake bread pudding, which is white bread pudding topped with royal icing and Mardi Gras sugars, and then also a rum cake, which is rum cake with champagne braised berries and whipped cream.
Yeah.
And that was a good way to end.
Yeah.
Again, in the middle end, we're all struggling.
we were just like, oh my God, especially after yesterday, after the boucherie, you got to get conditioned to come down to Louisiana, and not to eat crap, but to eat good food. There's so much good food. Chef Jeremy, thank you, by the way, Chef Jeremy, for providing us with an amazing lunch here. The Houmas House.
The Carriage House.
Yeah, this is called the Carriage House at the Houmas House. Carriage House is open 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Pretty much all day, all during business hours.
Yeah.
So they have a really good mix of different styles of food. So Houmas House has a beautiful grounds. It's we'd love to show you them right now, but it's dumping rain. It so happens today. So I've got some footage from last year that I'll put up when we're talking about this portion of the video. But you definitely, if you're going to visit Louisiana and you're looking to check out some of the old style restored plantation homes, Houmas House should definitely be on one of your lists to stop at.
You can spend a whole day here, and there's a lot of things to do. And you can eat, I don't know, maybe 3 meals here, at least 2.
At least 2, yeah. So and they got a bar, and that bar was pretty cool. Yeah. You know, and that's an all-day thing, I think, as well. Yeah. They're open all the time. They have like one of the largest bourbon selections in Louisiana, apparently. The food here is worth the trip alone. Yeah. I mean, Chef Jeremy's just done an amazing thing with the menu, and he continues to evolve it. Again, thank you, Chef Jeremy, for hosting us. We appreciate it.
It's always a joy being around Jeremy, and I also thank you for your time and the hospitality we've seen here, and also Mr. Kelly, who we got to meet. And we're going to work toward getting more melatonin on the menu. I got to put a plug in for it.
We're going to get David and Jeremy in the octagon, and they're going to duke it out, see who comes out on top. That'll determine whether or not melatonin ends up on the menu here.
What's been on the menu?
Well, on a regular basis. Yeah. That's where I know that's what you're jonesing for.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, thanks for joining us. And again, check it out, the Houmas House. And we'll be back at you with more info from this trip.
Yep.
All right. Take care.